It's December 2023, and we are really pleased to be here with Ainsley Hart, the president of Pipe Bands Australia. And Ainsley, just really want to thank you for taking the time today and looking forward to our chat.
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah. And, you're right in the thick of your season, being in the Southern Hemisphere. So it's a good time to talk to you. But, you took over the position with Pipe Bands Australia about 18 months ago, as president. How have things gone?
Yeah, good. We've tried to create some stability back in our association. I think we've been pretty successful in doing that. We have a small team on what we call our National Management Committee. There's 5 of us on that committee. So we all work pretty hard. We try and bring the stakeholders, the principles of piping and drumming and ensemble into that sort of conversation. And I think it's been going really well.
Good stuff. Yeah, and what maybe highlight a few of the things you've been able to accomplish with your team since you've taken over the role.
Okay, well, most recently we just held our very first Australian Juvenile Pipe Band Championships up in Warwick in Queensland. That was on the October long weekend, and that came to fruition from a survey which we did to all the bands. As you know, Andrew, our standard championship is only held every second year. And so there was definitely an appetite, particularly from the school bands, which make up about 25% of our membership. There was an appetite for them to actually have something on the calendar every year as a major championship style competition, whilst a lot of the school bands do travel overseas and do other events, New Zealand, go to Scotland, etc. There was a desire to have another yearly competition in Australia. And so, we came up with the Juvenile Pipe Band Championships. And off the back of that, we also added the Solo Championship, which we had run previously in both piping and drumming. And again, that was something that we had run a number of years ago on a biannual basis. So we combined the two of those things, and we had a big festival up in Warwick on the October long weekend. We had 350 odd solo performances and a bunch of novice juvenile A, B, and a new development grade running in the competition. So that was a huge success and something that we're definitely going to be continuing on with. So that's for me probably one of the biggest ticks in one of the biggest boxes.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good accomplishment. Feeding the future with youth, especially. And speaking of the Australian Pipe Band Championships, they are coming up in April 13th, I believe, in Maryborough, in Victoria.
That's right.
And not only that, Australia's got a new Grade 1 band, newly elevated, Hawthorn. So it should be exciting.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, they're very professional outfit. They're definitely striving for that, the upper echelon, competing over in New Zealand, and they're going great. It's fantastic to see. Got about 8 contests ahead of the Aussies across the country. So we're definitely pausing now for Christmas, but straight out of the gates in February with a whole bunch of contests and giving our bands, some, much needed build-up contests to get to the nationals.
Yeah. Are you expecting at the nationals, the Aussies, if you call them, are you expecting any New Zealand bands to come over?
To be honest with you, I don't yet know that there's nobody entered as such at this point, but we normally do get a few New Zealand bands across.
Good stuff.
And I hear there's actually a band from Singapore planning to come down as well.
Excellent. Sounds like it's shaping up well. So when you did become president, Pipe Bands Australia had a little bit of controversy, a few things going on. You inherited kind of a tumultuous environment, I guess. Are those things well in the past now?
Yeah, look, I hope so. We've definitely been working hard on building the culture of the organization, and the way to do that is to engage all of the stakeholders. I always like to think about confronting the issues that people will talk about in the beer tents, and that sort of conversation. I think you can't ignore those things. You need to bring that to the forefront. You need to open those conversations. You need to be as honest and transparent as you can about all of those things, and I think that helps to try and really squash some of that sort of ill feeling. I also like to try and think about the association as we're a player organisation. We're not we're not an elitist management team. We're grassroots players essentially, and we've come up through the ranks. And so hopefully we understand, what being in a pipe band's all about and what being a solo player is all about. And I think that really helps put those things behind us.
Yeah, the understanding, the empathy that's involved, I think, with people who've done the business like you have, can be really important. Not to say that non-players don't have skills too, but there is that kind of natural understanding of the plight or whatever we go through as competitors, which can be valuable. And it sounds like transparency is one of the key words for you for Pipe Bands Australia.
Yeah, look, transparency and definitely communication as well. We do our best to communicate as openly and honestly as we can. I always think there's room for improvement there, always, in terms of how things come across on social media and how they come out through the various branches, etc., etc. But we're definitely working hard on doing our best on that front.
Yeah, good. And again, you're in the middle of the Australian season, but apart from competitions and some of the things you've already mentioned, what else might be on the horizon? Do you see in the picture for?
Deep in education at the moment. The way that out of the national conference, there was a lot of discussion about the way we do education. So we have our own education system here. Not long ago, we've launched a new learning management software platform via our website. So we've got a lot of those courses now available in the online environment. We're working hard to try and get new adjudicators through. So we're working hard on developing adjudicators, giving our current adjudicators PD sessions, and then also again, developing our youth. And we're just about to launch a new summer school program to have at the end of next year. So because we haven't had a summer school for about 6 years. So yeah, we're just in the sort of beginning of scaffolding that and working out how we're going to do that and then presenting that.
Well, that's sounds like a full agenda, coming up.
Yeah.
Exciting times for piping and drumming in Australia for sure. So, Ainsley,
Yeah.
really appreciate the time you took, and we're going to be watching closely and excited to see some of the developments that happen in Australia, and especially looking
Fantastic.
forward to the Australian Championships coming up in April. So,
Great.
all
Yeah.
right,
Thanks very much for having me on, Andrew.
yeah, you bet. That's Ainsley Hart. He's president of Pipe Bands Australia, and we're looking forward to more chats with association leaders coming up in the future. Stay tuned.